Absolute Geezers, welcome. It's another edition of, I was going to say Tales of a Groundhopper then. It's the Sunday Social. Let's get started. That was a bit of a different one, wasn't it? I put my face on it.
I think I need to block you from my Facebook, mate.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
You're stalking the pair of us on Facebook for these pictures, aren't you? That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and they seem to be getting further back as well. There'll be ones from me from about 2006 coming up soon.
Well, release some new content, put some new pictures up. You know what I mean? Help a brother out.
At the moment, mate, there'll be no pictures of me going online for the time being.
Well, in all fairness, Dan, you said last week that you were trying to find a picture of me when I was playing football, but the internet wasn't around then, mate, so you won't see any pictures.
I found one and it was in black and white, but we'll come back to that.
Well,
guys, if you're joining us, welcome. It's that time of the week again. It's Sunday Social. Waiting in the wings is Mr. Elliott Durrell. Looking forward to speaking to him about the season. Got a few questions for him there. Hope you're all having a brilliant week. Beer at the ready, of course. Congratulations, you made it through another one. Good luck on the one coming up. Other than that, guys, I'm going to leave it to Mr. Coyne to tell you what is coming up tonight.
So we've got an interview with Elliott about his career, how this season's gone, and hopefully some gossip about the new owners at his club. We've then got an update on all things non-league. We're then going to go on to talk about famous football fans. So who have you seen at a game at any ground across the football pyramid? Let us know, and let's have a good conversation about that. I'm also going to discuss the World Cup bid in 2030 that's come out over the last week or so, with the possibility of the UK and Ireland uniting, should I say, for a joint bid for the World Cup in 2030, which I think will be the 100-year anniversary of the first World Cup. So fingers crossed that we can make that happen.
Excellent stuff. Look, before we get him on, we've got to honour him with some of those absolute wildies. So coming up next. Some decent goals there, Mr. Durrell. Some decent goals indeed. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, nice to join you, gents. Thanks for having me on.
How are you, Elliott? You all right?
Not a problem. That first one, mate, that one at I can't even say the bloody club, Headsford. I've been trying to say it all day. If Messi scores that, I'm telling you now, that's on Sky Sports News for the rest of the bloody century. That was a great goal. Talk us through it.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. I think we just conceded an equaliser. I think it was the 91st minute or the 92nd minute we conceded an equaliser, and my thought was get the ball as far away from my goal as possible. I was thinking, like, we've got it in us to concede again here, so I thought get it as far away from our goal as possible, and it just opened up, kept opening up, and you know, it was one of them where momentum just carried it, and it fell onto my weaker foot, and I just smashed it into the bottom corner, and then didn't really know what to do, so I did that belly roll, if you like, sort of thing. Pylon.
What a goal, mate. What a goal. And obviously followed them up with a couple of screamers there. Obviously, that one for Wrexham, you know, obviously you come back to the club. What a way to open your account, mate. It's just incredible. How's it been being back at the club? Second time round?
Yeah, it's, you know, obviously a lot's changed. You know, when a club like Wrexham comes knocking once, it's, you know, it's special. But for them to come knocking again, you know, because obviously it's pretty well documented that, you know, I think a lot of fans said that I wasn't really given a fair crack at the whip first time round. And, you know, whilst I agree with them, obviously I believe everything happens for a reason. And, you know, it didn't work out first time. And thankfully I've got a chance to come back and, you know, show the fans what I'm capable of, and hopefully, you know, use my experience that I've gained over the years to get the club back to where they want to be.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about experience. I mean, I've just to name a few here. We got Telford, Hensford, Chester, Wrexham the first time round, Macclesfield, York. That's just to name a few there. I mean, experience definitely. And you've always, do you know what? I've watched your career. I remember seeing the goal that you scored there, so I've always sort of kept my eye out for you. And this is long before I worked with your brother George as well. So a little shout out for George there. But yeah, you've always performed where you've gone, haven't you? And you've always been. I think you've always been consistent. I mean. People watching will definitely agree that the season with Macclesfield, when you come back from, you know, I think you were injured and you come back and you were just so important to them staying up that season. And it's great. It is. You definitely give everything on the pitch. I don't think anyone can deny that. Yeah,
you know, I think it's sort of a thing that's been drummed into me from a young age. You know, I was never the tallest in any squad that I've been in when I was coming up through the academy ranks. So I had to sort of make up for it elsewhere. And, you know, that's, I think, where my sort of my hard work and my endeavour, you know, comes from. And, you know, every manager that I've worked with has told me that, you know, my ability is unquestionable. You know, had I ever had my time differently, you know, if I'd have been maybe coming through now, my career may have been totally different. You know, because nowadays, you know, you look at the top players in the world and, you know, they're barely 6 foot. But as I say, you know, my experiences in my career, you know, something that I look back with great pride. And as I say, when I retire, I've got a lot of happy memories that I'll be able to relive with my children now and you know, my grandchildren in the future as well.
Oh, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. How have you found the last 12 months? Obviously, it's been a whirlwind for everyone involved in football, from elite to right down to the bottom there. How have you found it?
Yeah, it's been strange. You know, it's been really strange. I mean, I was at York at the beginning of last season, and again, that was obviously because of the well-documented financial issues that, you know, Macclesfield were under, and, you know, having been through it the season before, I just couldn't put, you know, myself and my family through that financial risk again. And you know, I didn't really want to drop down. You know, if the truth is told, you know, I'd established myself as a football league player. You know, I think I'd proved to everybody that I was more than capable of playing at that level. And like I say, it was a shock to me having to drop back down. But, you know, like I say, everything happens for a reason. So, you know, it didn't really work at York. I was away from my family a lot of the week, which, you know, I've never had to do, thankfully. And for me, you know, if you're not happy, you know, in yourself, I think it rubs off on your football, and that was certainly the case for me there. And, you know, then I joined Altrincham, and, you know, no sooner than I joined Altrincham, the pandemic hit. So, you know, that was sort of cut short. And then they said that our season was done. And I think I'd played 4 games for Altrincham, scored 4 in my first 4. And, you know, it was a great club. You know, the way that the football that they played was arguably some of the best football that I've ever played at any club I've ever been at. And that's including Macclesfield in League 2. But, you know, thankfully, you know, the likes of York and some other clubs, they fought quite hard for a promote 2, I think it was. And that thankfully got the league to get the playoffs to go ahead, and you know, we won the playoffs, thankfully. But in terms of the actual build up to it, it was so strange and surreal, because you had to be more disciplined on a personal level, you know, than you would have to be in a normal season, because, you know, we weren't able to train up until 4 weeks before the first playoff game. You know, we were just running for ourselves, running at home, logging things on, you know, running apps on your phone and that sort of thing, and doing Zoom, you know, hit sessions with the physios. So it was very strange, but as I say, you know, it paid off in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the 4 and 4. I remember looking at it, because, you know, whenever you go to a new club, it's always about finding form. And I suppose, look, I've never played proper football. I've only been a Sunday League superstar, and that's a bit putting it mildly. But joining a new team partly for a season, having to hit the ground running, getting 4 and 4, that's, you can't wish for anything more, really, can you? You can't really wish for a better start.
No, you know, massive shout out to the lads at Altrincham, and the manager and just the club, like I say, as a whole. It's an unbelievable club, and as I say, a club that's not blessed with ridiculous resources and things like that, financially, but a club that does things the right way. They put the players first, and every single player that pulls that shirt on wants to pull in the same direction as everybody else. And as I say, when you combine that with the management, the management team that they've got there, and the way that they want to implement their style of play, it's it was a recipe for success. And I played against Altrincham twice when I was at York, and obviously at the time I didn't want to sort of admit to it, but they were two of the most one-sided games of football I've ever been involved in. We played them twice at York, at Bootham Crescent, where it's supposed to be a bit of a fortress.
Yeah.
3,500, 4,000 York fans, and at some stage in the game we were asking for the second ball to be thrown on. It was that one-sided. When the opportunity arose for me to sign for Altrincham, in terms of my style of play and the way I like to play, it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I got down here and I circled it as well. Wonder goals. Just you seem to have one in you, don't you? I think it reminds me of like sort of whenever I went to Old Trafford and you see Scholes who pick the ball up, you just be like, he's going to do something. And I think fans, when they see you get the ball, I think they think the same. It's just beautiful technique you have, isn't it, with the ball? And you talk about the goal from the halfway line, picking it up, seeing spaces open. Elliott, I'd have fallen over about 6 times trying to do what you'd done in the first 10 yards, mate. So, do you train that, or is it just something that's just come natural to you throughout your career?
No, I think, obviously being an attack-minded player, you always sort of look for opportunities to score. And then I think it's just about, my sort of game has changed because, when I was younger, I did sort of seem to recollect playing slightly different. But in terms of, when I get on the ball now, I'm always constantly thinking, can I score? If I can't score, can I get one of my teammates to score? And I think it's a good knack to have. Obviously this season it's been tough this season in terms of building any momentum. I think everybody's in the same boat, not just us. We were on a good run earlier in the season, and then you get hit by an unexpected COVID break where you've got to self-isolate for 2 weeks. Again, it goes back to your self-discipline, and although everybody does it because it's in your best interest to do it, it just sort of stops momentum. So I'd like to have a few more goals this season, but I haven't. But as you say, I'm constantly looking, and if I pick the ball up in the right area, I've got no qualms with having a go.
That definitely shows. We touch on a lot of the season left to play. A brilliant result away from home yesterday against a team that are fighting just like you at the right end of the table. How's the confidence within the squad going forward? Do you guys feel like, yeah, we can do this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've always from day one, we've said that the manager has looked to put a squad together that's not only good enough to compete at the right end of the table, but certainly from my experiences with Macclesfield and my short time at Altrincham, the big difference for me is your team spirit. Certainly from, as I say, my experience at Macclesfield, I think our team spirit got us over the line that year, and I think we won it in the end by 10 points. And there were some big clubs in the league at that year. There was Tranmere that was on our tail at one stage, and we saw them off, and he's tried to put a squad together, and we sort of started well, then we dropped off, and we've sort of been a little bit up and down, but we've really started to find our feet now. The last I think we're unbeaten in 10.
Yeah.
We've got 5 clean sheets. We've just been away to Sutton, kept a clean sheet, nullified them to maybe 2 or 3 attempts on goal, and as I say, the most important thing is our team spirit is building. Coming to the final quarter of the season, we're in a good place. If we can keep building momentum, keep building team spirit, like I say, there's no reason why we can't go on and achieve the target that we set out at the beginning of the season.
Massive. It'd be massive for Wrexham. Coyne and Vorney, massive town fans, and I think you both agree, lads. That rivalry of Wrexham, it's missing, isn't it? And they're a big club, and they deserve to be back up here.
should be a football league club, in my opinion. And you know, for me, it was a shame that they dropped out of the football league in the first place in 2008. I mean, Wrexham, you look at the stadium, you look at the history of the club. That is a football league club, isn't it? As a minimum, there should be League Two, if not in League One, having regular derby games with Shrewsbury. And I think maybe a lot of time fans would disagree with me, but I think it would be great if and when Wrexham do get back in the Football League that we're playing them in League One or higher, I will add.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, 78, 79 season, I think Wrexham had got promoted to the old sort of championship level the other season before, and when we joined them in second division, a year later in the Welsh Cup games that we played against them, and they were always big occasions. So as a kid growing up, really, I always think the rivalry for me was always Shrewsbury and Wrexham, although Wrexham fans will always argue their derby is with Chester. But a big club, and hopefully they'll get up and we'll play them again at some point.
I'm very mindful that Elliott's got I think he's got father duties, so I've got a couple more quick questions for you, buddy, and I'll let you go.
No problem.
The obvious one I think people will want to hear as well is, a lot's been said about the new owners. We definitely don't need to name them. Everyone knows who they are. First question is, have the lads spoken to him yet?
So we've not had any direct dialogue with them. The manager spoke to them. I think from the initial interest in the club, and from when it was the takeover was complete, he was pretty adamant on, the lads don't really need to have any sort of direct contact, if you like, with them. We can't control what goes on off the pitch. Our job is purely on the pitch, and they're global megastars, so there's nothing that anything that they want to do, we can't control that, but they've bought a football club that ultimately is in our hands, and there'd be no greater feeling for us 20-25 players to get the football club back to where everybody thinks it should be, and what a way it would be to sort of start off for the new owners.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for the club as well. And in fact, you know what? I'll ask you as a player quickly, and I've got one more question. I'll let you go. How big is it for a club like Wrexham to have the interest that you're going to have globally now? Not just around here, but globally, aren't you? It comes with the territory of the two lads who have bought it. Yeah,
absolutely. I think. There's I don't know if you've been to the racecourse recently, but they've got a reasonably small club shop just at the front of the ground, and two lads work all day every day in there, and they said they've never ever imagined or seen anything like it since the takeover. They've had shirt orders from Dubai, obviously America, Canada, Africa, everywhere. Everywhere that you can think, they've had orders. The aviation gin that obviously belongs to Ryan Reynolds. They sold, I think I don't quote me on the figures, but they ordered something like 500 bottles, and they've ended up selling like 4,000 bottles. And I mean, not only does that show that the sort of support that the club will get moving forward, but I think that sort of shows to the new owners what sort of club they're buying into. Whilst everything is great for them. I don't imagine that Ryan Reynolds ever imagined that he would sell 4,000. Not that for 1 minute I think he needs to sell 4,000 bottles of gin, but I don't ever think he would have imagined that 4,000 fans from Wrexham or wherever they're from were going to buy this gin. They're buying into a football club that's like as you've touched upon is a sleeping giant, and does need to be back in the Football League for the better.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. I think it shows. I think they're already seeing that the support they're going to get, from the players on the pitch and from the fans off the pitch. I can't wait. I pray. I'm not a praying man, but I pray that they come face to face with the bootlegger. Christ Almighty, that would just be,
wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? Deadpool and the bootlegger. That's a film coming up. Finally, mate, before I let you go, what does the future hold for you, Elliott? Are you happy where you are? You happy and settled now, or is it end of the season? Have a rethink?
No, listen. Obviously, when something happens, like's happened to Wrexham, it's there's probably only a few other clubs that you could ever want to be at. The takeovers that's gone through is amazing. What direction they want to go in, we don't know as players, but I'm in. Us players that are there now are in the best position possible. If we get this club promoted back to the Football League, you'd like to think that they're gonna be loyal to us and give us the opportunity to maybe go again next season or whatever. But I'm happy. I'm happy as I was when I rejoined in July or August time. I've obviously just got back into the team, so I'm enjoying it again, and I just take every game as it goes, and like I say, we're just aiming for that target that we set out at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I wish you all the best with it, mate. I really do. As I say, it comes across speaking to you now, and it comes across the interviews. I see that you're a good, honest bloke, and that you just want the best for your club, and you're very much a family man. And I really do wish you all the best for the season. I genuinely hope you get the promotion that you deserve, mate.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Well, again, hopefully in the future. In fact, if you get promoted, I want you back on the show.
He'll have you back on, Elliot. You know that, don't you?
We can have a promotion party if we get promoted.
Spot on. I'll hold you to that. Guy, thanks very much, Elliot. And listen, mate, you take care and stay safe out there. And good luck with the rest of the season, mate.
Yeah, good luck, Elliot. Take care.
Cheers, Elliot. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Top bloke, absolutely top bloke. Comes across. Oh, look at that! We're all next to each other. I'll change that.
God, what's happened there?
Yeah,
that was a bit too close to comfort.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it comes across in everything that he said there, doesn't it? That they're all hungry. It's been a good. They hit form at the right end of the season, haven't they, Wrexham? They really have. And clean sheets at any part of the season are hard to come by. But if you're getting them now, then you're definitely doing something right. I think they'll. I mean, look, they're in the playoffs at the moment. They'll be a team to watch in the playoffs regardless, won't they?
Yeah, the playoffs are a complete lottery, aren't they? I mean, you look at the time. We were in the conference, Shrewsbury, and Hereford finished. I think it was 17 points ahead of us. By rights, they should have been the team that got promoted. They had a player sent off in the semi-final second leg. That went to penalties. They lost penalty shootout to Aldershot, who then played us in the final, and we won the final on penalties, having won the semi-final on penalties as well. It's a complete lottery, isn't it? And if your number comes up, you're back in the Football League. So. Seriously, best of luck to Wrexham, because genuinely, even though I'm a Shrewsbury fan, and I probably wouldn't have even dreamt of saying this 15 years ago, but it really would be great to see him back in the Football League, and to eventually have that fixture back, Shrewsbury against Wrexham. I think would be fantastic. Yeah.
Wait, you're right there, Corny, because that was always a fixture that by hook or by crook you'd always look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, local derbies always generate interest anyway, don't they? And they generate finance for both clubs as well. So in all fairness, they're important to both clubs that play in a derby. And like I said, they were always games that we used to look forward to. And you're right. I couldn't believe, 2008 was when they went down. And you can't really believe that a club of that size have been in the conference for as long as they have. And I think pretty much every season they get to the playoffs and just can't seem to get over the line and get back up, can they? Yeah. They just can't seem to quite do it. But
I think
they will. They will.
Yeah,
absolutely. They will do.
I think at the time that they went down 2008, you'd think they'd do similar to us and come back within a season, 2-3 years max. So but I think unfortunately as a club around that period and for a number of years before that, they suffered from some mismanagement, didn't they? And financial mismanagement as well.
Yeah, that's right. They almost went out of business. Yeah.
As always, it's the fans that suffer because of that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think some of the clubs that dropped in there, I mean, Luton and Oxford, they did get back eventually. But, you've got other clubs in there like Notts County and Chesterfield now as well, haven't you? So it's not an easy league by any stretch.
And below, dropped down below, didn't they? York City.
Yeah.
United. There's another one. It was in the Football League for a time, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Some big clubs in there. Some big clubs.
Talking about big clubs. Well done, and people in the comments, get your comments in below if you're having a watch. Big shout out to Rangers on winning their first league title today. Massive for them.
Absolutely. I think Coyne needs to talk us through that one, doesn't he?
No, seriously, congratulations to Rangers. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt. They were the best side in the league this year. They thoroughly deserved to win that title. I just think it's a shame they didn't have more of a challenge this year. I think Celtic's defence of their title and Celtic's challenge for 10 in a row for this year's league title has been quite frankly pathetic.
Fell completely by the wayside.
You can get me on a rant about it if you want, but maybe we'll put that for later on.
Well, you talk about defence. I've got to be honest. I'm going to play something now. I don't think there's any defence for this, and this might be me being a bit OTT about it all. But as I always say, we are still in the midst of a pandemic. The numbers are dropping. We all know that. It's great news. But to see this, I mean, I was absolutely flabbergasted at this. I absolutely could not believe what I was bloody watching. I was absolutely stunned at it. It was just, I mean, if you look, hardly any people are wearing any bloody masks as it is. I get it. It's an amazing time to be a fan. I get it. But I mean, come on, do me a favour. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, Nicola Sturgeon's come out and she's got some fairly harsh words today.
Oh, she has. It's like chucking a bloody tennis ball at a bee's nest, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I will say, and I'm not even going to try and defend. I'm going to try and defend them actually.
Let me get myself comfortable for this.
If that was any other club of the same size, if we're talking about Celtic winning, if we're talking about Celtic winning 10 in a row today, I don't think the scenes would be any different. I think if you look back to last year when Liverpool won the Premier League, I think there were similar scenes in Liverpool. It's emotion. These fans don't have places to go, so they spill out onto the street. And yeah, it's wrong. It is quite literally against the law. But I don't think you would see any different from any other club either of that size.
Oh, of
course, it's wrong. Yeah, Dan, absolutely, it's 100% wrong. But also, by the way, the police control of it is quite frankly pathetic.
Oh, massive!
How are the police? This is an illegal gathering that could well put lives at risk, and the police Scotland are doing very, very little about it. They're just controlling the crowd there. They're not trying to disperse them.
Oh, that's right.
They're literally shepherding them out the way so that Gerrard and co can drive in. Honest, I couldn't believe it.
And that was yesterday. There's been more stuff.
Yeah.
Today in George Square. In the centre of the city. Don't tell me for 1 minute that they weren't expecting that police Scotland. Cordon off the square.
Yeah, cordon off the square and stop the access. Yeah, absolutely.
We had the barriers out at Celtic Park not so long ago. Get them off so they can't access that area. It's quite easy to do. The
issue is, I think, and she's come out, and out cranky and said her bit, but she's it's just going to do what it always does, and that's paint us football fans in a bad light. It's gonna bring the blame back to football. Football shouldn't be played. Fans are idiots. They don't listen to the rules, and it's just like just do it properly. Do you know what I mean? They should have, and you know what, you're so right. And people, if you're watching, get in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions about this. They should have learned from Celtic. They should have learned from Liverpool last season when it happened. The police are not idiots. Well, in this case, they bloody are. It's as simple as that. Like you say, cordon off the places they're going. It's, I think it's an absolute disgrace. And like, I get it, emotion. Look, I'm one of the most emotional people when it comes to football. I really am. But I also have a brain, and I know that we're at the moment so close to getting out and about and being able to meet our friends, being able to go see our families, being able to just sort of get some normality back. And I watch that and I'm like, you fucking morons. You absolute morons. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that the missus told me off before I come on air. I don't know. But I'm not happy about it. Again, get in the comments below. Vaughnie, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I suppose I'm drawn by all the comments, really, to be quite honest. It's understandable them doing it, but you can't do it, can you? So I think at the end of the day, the police knew or should have known what was going to happen there. I mean, celebrations in Liverpool last year, you knew that was going to happen, didn't you? You knew that sort of like that night when they were due to win the championship at Anfield, that fans would congregate there, and that's exactly what they did. And Corney's right, really. The police are not doing enough to stop that. Now, there's going to be a volume of people kind of going up there, and like you've just seen the scenes there in Glasgow. There's thousands of people there. I think they talked about 15,000 people, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
they know they're going there, don't they?
The police gave them an escort as well.
Yeah.
The police gave an escort to an illegal gathering.
Yeah. Honestly, it almost made me spill my beer then. Oh, bloody hell. It has made me spill my beer. That's how angry I am.
I know Nicola Sturgeon sort of was harping on about it, but at the end of the day, that's down to her to do something about it then, isn't it? Yeah. This wasn't a surprise. Rangers are winning that league, aren't they? They've been winning that league for the last sort of two months, haven't they? So it's not like you're not going to see that one coming.
Season, since Celtic signed a goalkeeper that doesn't make any saves.
Catches thin air.
Got a couple of comments here. We got Dave Roberts. How you doing, Dave? Dave sent me some good content midweek. Thanks for that, mate. Jelly and ice cream for Coiny, it says there. Dare I ask what that means? Dare I ask?
Well, I think maybe I will have some jelly and ice cream later, and maybe just reflect on Celtic's 4 trebles in a row for this, because that's going to be lost on all this, and all the attention is going to be on Rangers, and today quite rightly so. But let's not forget what a historic achievement Celtic have done over the past 4 years as well. Whilst Rangers have been in the league too, I will add. There's always this thing. Oh, it's not a proper 9 in a row because Rangers weren't in the league for the first few years of it. Well, we all know why they weren't in the league, don't we?
Very true.
So, here he is.
There we go. There's the real Paul Coyne. But I mean, at the end of the day, having Rangers back in the top flight there, well, it's got to be good for that league, isn't it? Like you said, Celtic was a bit of a one-horse race, wasn't it? Nobody else was able to really financially be able to punch with them. Rangers can. Even Hearts being down in the Championship, you need them back in the top division as well, don't you? So you got the 2 big Edinburgh sides in there as well, really, for it to be a proper Premiership.
I was glad to see Dundee United come back up as well. They're a big football club in Scotland too, and I thought they played fantastic today against Celtic. The goalkeeper in particular. I wish that goalkeeper had signed for Celtic at the start of the season, because might have put up a bit more of a defence of their title there.
We've got Dale Skit that says Liverpool Leeds commentary fans all congregated in large groups after their successes last season. It's not right, but it's inevitable. Football fans often let their hearts overrule their heads. Do you know what, Dale? I completely and utterly agree with that, mate. It's just a question I'll pose to you two, actually, and to you, Dale. In fact, to the people watching, I wonder what some of these people who congregated, I'd love to know what their job titles were. I'd love to know if any of them worked for the NHS. I'd like to hope not. I'd love to know if any of them worked in positions that, if people knew what they were doing, would put them in a situation, because it just outraged me. It really did. I don't know. And you know what really annoyed me is the Rangers players hanging out the windows, riling them a bit. Come on. And I'm like, you're supposed to be setting an example. You're not meant to be bringing them. I get there's emotion. You had enough emotion in the bloody changing room with fucking Stevie G doing a slip along the floor on his belly, celebrating. You had enough emotion there. Don't rile them up even more. Let them bugger off. Celebrate between yourselves. Look, fans are going to be allowed back in the stadium sooner rather than later. Celebrate it then. You know what I mean? Have your bloody celebration there. But oh my God, I couldn't believe it. This is, and I'm going to stop there, I promise. What if they have another spike there? So what if in 3 weeks' time they have to say, right, we're going to have a localised lockdown in that place now. We're going to have to lock it down for 3 weeks. It's not just people who weren't involved that get the brunt of it. It's businesses that are waiting to open. Do you know what I mean? It's people who it's children not being able to go back to school. It's people who are not able to go to work. It's people not able to see their loved ones. Or because Rangers won their first title. Well, not their first title, but
I think it's maybe a sign of the times as well, Dan, because what would have happened is the word will have got round on social media. Party happening in George Square, and then all of a sudden people are looking at their Twitter, and there's a bit of jealousy there. Oh, I want to be part of that. There's a party on. I don't want to miss out, and they'll head there because of that. And then of course it's almost this thing at the moment, in life where you need to be seen to be doing something. You need to get there with your bloody phone and Facebook Live yourself at this momentous occasion. People watch, people make great memories through filming them now, don't they? And it's like they'd rather watch the memories afterwards and actually just enjoy being in the moment. I mean, that's another thing I could go on a rant about. But I think social media hasn't helped in any of these situations. The word gets around, people go to where it's at, don't they?
No, I completely agree.
Totally agree with it.
I'm going to stop before I get too angry about it. At least there's one thing we know for certain: Liverpool aren't going to be having a congregated large group this season, are they? Jesus Christ, they're absolutely falling to pieces.
Unless they win the Champions League.
Sorry?
Unless they win the Champions League.
Oh, mate, can you see them winning the Champions League? Honestly.
Did you see them winning the Champions League when they were 3-0 down against AC Milan in Istanbul?
They had Steven Gerrard. I just can't see it. I think they look absolutely dead and gone now. Well, do you know what? Actually, before we move on, I will say this. I'll give props to Scotty Parker. He's by hook or crook. He's dragging that Fulham team, isn't he? Kicking and screaming towards safety.
They're a good side. Side.
He got them back up, and it looks like he's going to keep them safe as well, doesn't it? I'd rather see them stay up. A team who's gradually grown over the season and built than someone like West Brom who just thinks, let's get Sam Allardyce in, we'll save it. Let's get this dinosaur in, get ourselves to 17th, and then probably sack him at the end of the season and get someone else and build from there. I'd certainly rather see Fulham stay up.
No, I completely agree with that, and I hope they do as well. Before we do the non-league update, I thought, may as well, we've been talking to Elliott there about Wrexham, about their famous owners there. And this comes to the people who are watching and get your comments in below. And also remember, subscribe and hit a like on the video. Let's get this out there. I want people watching it. I want you all to be enjoying it. So question is to everybody, famous fans at football grounds and football games, or just in general, have you ever bumped into someone famous at a football game? Vorney, I'll come to you first. Anything that sticks in your mind, because you've been to more football games than Peter Shilton.
I'm as old as Peter Shilton as well, mate. Yeah,
you are.
There's a few that spring to mind. Euro 2004 in Coimbra. For England, Switzerland, and we bumped into Fat Boy Slim and stopped and had a chat to him. And a really, really approachable guy as well. He was
really?
one of the he was really good. My mates actually noticed him. I think he'd been to the World Cup in 2002, and he'd been to a gig that Fat Boy Slim had been doing. So, he went over there, said, I saw your gig, and we had a great time there. And they were talking about that and talking about the game that was coming up. And it was really good, talking about Brighton and what they were doing at the time, because I think they were down at the with Dean and kind of whatever. And he was very passionate, and it wasn't one of those sort of guys that was itching to get away. He just wanted to have a really, really good chat to us. So he was a really good guy and really nice guy to talk to. Another one that springs to my mind, and I actually made a complete twat of myself, to be quite honest. That's not
my job. That's not my job, really.
And this was actually in the World Cup in 2006, an England-Sweden game, and it was a bit of a mad crush to sort of get into the turnstiles. And I was sort of queuing up, and I was with my ex-wife Jane. I got her a ticket for the game, and we were queuing up to sort of get in. And I noticed this guy sort of standing over my shoulder, and I sort of looked over, and he looked at me, and hi mate, how you doing? And he looked at me, hello, quite a posh voice, and how are you? Yeah, we're talking about the game, and not really thinking too much of it. And I could see Jane sort of looking at me as if to say, what the bloody hell are you doing talking to him? It was one of those sort of moments. So I had a bit of a chat, and anyway, went through the turnstile, and he drifted off. Oh, bye, yeah, goodbye, yeah, enjoy the game, and one of those. And she said to me, what are you doing talking to him? And I said, you're talking to him like you know him. And I said, I must do. I must know him from England games or something. I recognise his face. And she goes, that's David Cameron, you prat. I was like, I'd had a few beers on board, but I was like, yeah, it was. I mean, in all fairness,
at the time.
No, he wasn't. He'd literally he'd only just taken over as the first sort of minister of the Conservative Party. So he wasn't Prime Minister. He'd only just taken over the leadership of the Conservative Party. It was like, of course, she said it was like, oh yeah, of course it is. Anyway, we kind of flew back the next day. I was watching the 6 o'clock news, and of course he's on the news, and she was like, "There's your mate." I was like, "What an idiot!" What an idiot.
Do you reckon he's walking away going, "I swear that's bloody Varney, that is." Does all the groundhopping.
He says, "I'm sure that's Varney." He was saying to his guard, he was saying, "I need to have a chat with this guy. That's Varney."
Funny you should say that, mate. Actually, before I come to you, Coyne, I've got I put it out on Twitter today, and I got some good answers actually. So I'll just quickly run through them. We had Diskin, who's part of the Fan of Fan podcast. He's met some bloody people at games. He has Harry Maguire, Kel Brook, Matt Fitzpatrick, the golfer, Ricky Hatton, and Mark Schwarzer. Jesus Christ! I feel a bit embarrassed about mine now, but we've also got. Where are we here? Splodge, who is down at Fareham. He met Buster Bloodvessel, who was chairman of Margate. Apparently bought him a pint as well, so that was quite decent of him.
It was.
We've got Emma's Ground Guides. Have you ever heard of Emma's Ground Guide, you pair?
Yeah, I've seen him on Twitter, yeah.
You know, Coyne, watch. Right after this, go on Twitter and find him. It's a lad who's managed somehow to rope his lovely partner into going to games with him, and she's invested in it. She loves it, and it's like mind blown.
Fair play to him as well.
Sorry,
fair play to him as well.
Honestly,
so
Christ, the way
these women do exist, then, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
More of them out there.
Sorry?
Is there any more of them out there?
If I find one, let me know. I'm joking. She's probably watching this. Is she? Of course she's not. They met. They saw Pogba in the away end with Crew away at Oldham. Watching his brother, that's mad. That is. Liam Kent saw Liam Cooper at Hall Road Rangers watching his brother play. I'm assuming Liam Cooper's brother play, not Liam Kent's brother. That would be a bit odd, wouldn't it? Justin Woodward saw Ewan Roberts from Team GB and Tiff Nadelli, the Formula One racer. We got Groundhopper Dobby who saw Gaza at Lutterworth AFC, and he signed his program for him. Do you know what? A lot of people say, regardless of what people think about Gaza, that he's so approachable. He'll talk for hours with you, won't he, apparently?
Gaza's good. Yeah.
This is the best one. This is the best one. You'll love this one. Russell Cox said, Varney of footballers, and that is what I want. Sunday social. AFC Uckfield versus Langley Wanderers.
We did. Yeah, that was a bank holiday Monday, an August bank holiday Monday, about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, Russ was there. Yeah.
Rob, I got Rob who said he saw Jason Statham at Anfield. That's one bloke I wouldn't bloody approach. Jesus Christ! Imagine knocking your pint over him. Jesus. And Matthew Wilmot saw Les Ferdinand at Barnet. His son was playing. For Barnet reserves, I think. Apparently, really nice guy. Massive hands, apparently. David Roberts has said, I saw Johnny Vegas watching Shrewsbury at the Meadow. Jesus Christ, Johnny Vegas, imagine that. I think he'd be a hell of a laugh. What about you, Coyne?
There's a couple that stick in my mind, but no one that I've really had a chance to interact with for a long time. So one that sticks in my mind is about 20 years ago, Newtown. I was at a Newtown match. They played a friendly against an Aston Villa 11. And playing for Aston Villa that night was David Ginola, who had been left out by John Gregory, who was manager of Villa at the time, and dropped into the reserves. And he was just playing to get his fitness up. And what I will say about Ginola that night is every single autograph that was put in front of him, he signed. Everyone who wanted a conversation or a picture with him, he waited for. You know, he was probably there half an hour, 45 minutes after the match, still signing autographs, talking to people. You know, he could not have been more generous with his time. It was really, really, really good of him. And to be honest, the guy's a superstar, isn't he?
He is.
This would be 2001, so 3 years before he was winning Player of the Year with Spurs and was one of the top players in the Premier League. Yeah. So you know, obviously, you always say players should be that generous with the time, but it's not always the case. And that's always stuck in my memory of how good he was with the fans that night. The other one, well, there's two more linked with town. I can remember being at Doncaster a few years ago, Vaughan. You were probably there, and I looked to my left. If you can imagine the away stand at Doncaster, there's a stand that's usually empty to your left with the boxes that run along the top. And sitting in one of those boxes was Sir Alex Ferguson, who was
Jesus
managing Doncaster at the time. So obviously he was only there to watch Shrewsbury, wasn't he? So
of course he was.
Yeah. Do you reckon you can get him on the show?
I would love the opportunity to speak to him, mate, but unfortunately he was too far away even to shout to him. And the other one, who I didn't actually see myself, but it was mentioned in the press a couple of years back, was Marcus Rashford at the Meadow, whose friend Roshan Williams still plays for Shrewsbury at the moment. So he was watching Shrewsbury because of his pal. So those are the ones that stick in my mind anyway. I'm sure there are more, but none that spring to mind at the moment.
I've got a couple more, Dan. Actually, I've
got
a couple more.
I'll get my pitiful one out of the way, and then you can tell us your amazing one. Again, back at Welly Arms, everything seems to happen at Welly Arms with me. They were playing against. Christ Almighty! I'll tell you a story in a second. Someone who's just propped up in the comments. Jesus Christ! So they were playing Droitwich Spa, and I was stood there with my camera, and this bloke come over and stood next to me, and I was like, "You all right, man?" He was like, "Yeah, not bad. The game's all right." I said, "Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, mate." I'm like, yeah. He said, "Not a bad one for the neutral." And I'm saying, "Yeah, no." And I'm thinking, "Will you piss off, mate? I'm trying to record you." Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it was only when he walked off, someone walked up and said, "That's David Stockdale, the goalkeeper." And I was like, "You're fucking joking." I
just fired him off.
He's there trying to have a lovely conversation, and I'm there going, "Mate, yeah, listen, I'm so sorry." And off he went. And I thought, "Oh, that could have been good for me." Chat anyway. Yeah, he off. But that was just a couple of comments before we come back to you there, Vaughan.
He played a few games. Was it Fulham and Brighton?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it, man.
Very good goalkeeper.
Lovely bloke. Just I was really rude to him. He's probably watching that. No, he's definitely not watching that. Stephen Gerrard used to watch Seven Real. He did. Didn't he come on the pitch once for us to do some awards? I think he agreed to do that. Was it when Dunbavin was playing for us?
He was a mate of Dunbavin's. Yeah, he was a mate of Dunbavin's. Yeah,
we got here. Yeah, just watched several Shrewsbury games with his mate. Yeah, there we go, Dale. Yeah, spot on. Barry Swain says, "Don't forget about Fever, Prince William, me and you." I'll tell that story very quickly, and then you can crack on, Vorley. So me and Barry are in. No, it wasn't Fever, Barry. It was in Reflex. Coin, you'll definitely remember.
It doesn't matter which one it is; they're both shit.
They are, mate. Anyway, me and Barry have stood at the end of the bar. It was a Thursday night, and I'll never forget. It was $1.99 cocktails. So
tells you all you need to know about the place.
Exactly. Anyway, we're in there, and there's a few people. It's not massively busy, and then all of a sudden, the security guards started turfing people out for no reason. And I looked at Baz and I said, "Something's happening here. Are they shut in earlier?" Anyway, I swear to God. So a little backstory for people who aren't from Shrewsbury, but Prince Harry and Prince William come and trained at an airbase near to us called RAF Shawbury, was it?
Yeah.
Shawbury, yeah. Anyway, in walks Prince William. Prince William with his entourage. They walked to the end of the bar. Now, Coiner, you'll definitely remember the old Reflex bar, right by the glass collecting bit. He was stood up there. So I've got my phone. I run to the toilet. I ring my dad, and I'm like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Prince William's in the fucking club. And my dad said, "Oh my God!" And this bloke walks up to me, and I must have been one of his security guards, and he said to me, "I swear, honestly," he looked at me dead in the eyes, and he went, "It's a fucking lookalike. Put your phone away." And I was like, "Right, yeah, okay, put my phone away." Anyway, me and Baz are at the end of the bar, and people are getting kicked out. And I thought, I've got to speak to him. I've got to speak to him, because I'm never, ever going to have this opportunity being this close to him ever again. And Barry will back me up in the comments for this. So I waited for my moment. I'm like, sort of scouting it. Anyway, there's a gap, and I dart, and I get straight by him. I put my hand out, and I said, "Prince." and he put his hand out, and I said, I loved Purple Rain. And that was it. The fucking Donna got my arms up my back and they threw me out. So, yeah, Prince William, mate. I told him I loved Purple Rain, and I was, honestly, and when I say I was kicked out of the club, I was picked up and I was thrown out of the club. But that was, that's one of my, not football related, but Dale Skit says, the one commenting, I thought that, Dale, to be fair. I was thinking the 7-bit. Vorney, go for yours, mate.
Well, why were you kicked out if he was a lookalike, though? I don't get the crux of that.
With him, wasn't it? For fuck's sake. Honestly, mate, I fucking grabbed hold of his hand. I don't even think, do you know what? I don't even think he put his hand out to shake it. I think I just grabbed hold of his fucking hand and they thought I was trying to get old. I don't know. But it was a bad one.
I got one better than Coyne, because Coyne sat in the stand there and looked across and seen Alex Ferguson. I was sat in the stand at Plainmoor, which is Torquay United. This is going probably best part of 30 years ago. And I saw Bet Lynch from Coronation Street. How about that? I think she was going out with Justin Fashanu at the time. And I looked across. I saw this woman with a big sort of like stack of blonde hair. That looks like Bet Lynch. And then somebody behind, somebody finally goes, oh, yeah. She comes here quite a lot. So it's like, it's Bet Lynch. So there you go. That's better than Alex Ferguson, surely. Another one, me and Rob were over in the World Cup in 2014 in Rio. We were walking down the street, we were walking to a bar, and all I heard was, do you not know who I am? And the bouncer kind of going, no, mate, I don't. And we looked.
That's Coyne in Aberystwyth.
It was Coyne. It was Coyne trying to get in the club. And I was,
Coyne in Aberystwyth.
I wish I'd been to the World Cup. Maybe not to some of the England games of that tournament, mind, but
no, it wasn't great for that. It was Stan Collymore, and Stan Collymore was at the door, kind of pleading with the doorman, going, "Do you not know who I am?" And this doorman, we stopped, and this doorman just kind of looked at him and went, "No." It was just like, "Now leave." It was one of those. The last one I've got, actually, you mentioned Harry Maguire there before, and that's my mate Adam Cotham. We were at the Euros in 2016, and Harry Maguire was having a beer with his mates because he went there as a fan. And Adam he's a big Hull fan, and he saw Maguire, and Maguire obviously played for Hull, so he wanted to have a picture with him. And the picture that with Adam and Harry Maguire was the one that was used in all the media in 2018 when Maguire obviously made the England side and he was playing for England. And that was the picture that was used throughout the media to say, here you go, this guy was just one of the fans back 2 years ago, just having a beer with his mates. And that was what was in the Sun and other newspapers that picked it up. Albeit that actually, I think they stole Adam's picture. They didn't actually ask him for permission to use it, which wasn't overly good. Yeah.
They put a claim in, I'm telling you. I bet it was the bloody Sun.
It was. I think it was the Sun. I think it was them.
Of course it bloody was.
Excuse my French.
I could just picture Coyne now outside peer pressure in Aberystwyth going, do you know who I am? I'm only joking. Someone you're not there, Coyne.
I see, mate, even I think from Collymore's point of view, I think that's pathetic, to be honest. I mean, who cares who you are? Not being funny. You're trying to get a beer in a different country. Who gives a toss in Brazil who Stan Collymore is? Like,
in all fairness, they're not going to know him. I mean, okay, he's a fairly well-known football player over in the UK, isn't he? But he goes to Brazil and he's outside a nightclub in Brazil going, do you not know who I am? And they're like, well, why is somebody in Brazil going to know who the bloody hell he is? You know what I mean? It's like,
it's nice to know that the famous people do what we do. Oh, come on, mate. Just come on. Just let me in. You know who I am.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Guys, look, I can see there's a few of you watching. Get your comments in. Surely you must have seen some famous people. I think before we move on, I'll tell you the one I always dine out on, actually, which is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer one for people who haven't heard it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he was in charge of Cardiff City, I was coming back from London with a lady friend of mine, an ex-lady friend of mine, shall we say. And we stopped off at Watford Gap, and I'm having some food, and we're just about to go, and I saw the Cardiff team all roll into the services, and I was like, oh my good God, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, I love the bloke. Massive result for United for him. I was so happy for him to get that result. But anyway, so I'm sat there and I'm thinking, right, when he comes in, I'm just gonna go up to him and say, you know, thank you so much, you know, for everything that you did for United. You're a hero. You're this, blah 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 blah. Anyway, in he comes through the doors. So I get up and I'm heading towards him. And I'm thinking, this is it now. So I've got my phone in my hand, ready to get a picture with him. Everything's ready. Anyway, I walked towards him, and all I could muster up was, Ollie, and he went, all right, and I just walked straight past him.
I thought you were going to say you told him that you loved Purple Rain for a second.
Got manhandled at the services.
Honestly, just walked straight past him, and I got outside, and I was couldn't believe what I'd just done. But I tell you what, whilst we're on the topic of can't believe what we've just done, I couldn't believe what I witnessed, and I couldn't believe the bad press this poor lad got, because I think it's something that anybody watching would have done in his predicament. Have a look at this. I love the fact the striker's like, the striker's got an open goal for about 30 yards. It's his own fault. But what did you think of that? And guys, get your comments in below. Let me know what you think of that. I honestly think that's just a case of someone taking one for the team now. I really do.
I'm surprised that VAR didn't overturn it and say it was a dive.
I just love the fact he gets up, doesn't even look at the striker. He's already walking. He knows exactly what he's done. If I'm the coach, and I don't know, to be honest, and people again in the comments below, let me know. I don't know what the score was. I don't know if it was anything that was stopping them from conceding. I don't know. But
if you have a look at the scoreboard in the top hand left of the screen, I think it's 2-1. So I think that tackle won his side 2 points.
Oh, mate, definitely. You're fine with that, aren't you?
When you get back into the changing room, you're a hero, aren't you?
Massive. Well, look at Suarez in the World Cup.
Uruguay, yeah, 2010.
Yeah. But, 2010 against Uruguay. That was Uruguay against Ghana. Sorry, it was Uruguay.
So what are you saying there, Dan? Are you saying that cheats do prosper? Is that what you're saying?
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that. I'll be honest. If that was one of my players, and one of my players did that, I come off the pitch afterwards, and you know, as probably the correct thing to say would be, oh, you know, that's a terrible thing. You know, you deserve your 3-match ban and all that. Absolute bollocks. You're saying to him, hey, fantastic, mate. You just won us the game there. Well done. It's within the rules of the game. You know, well, it's not really, is it? But
no, not really. You're not allowed to do that, Paul.
He's not got a card. He's not got a card for the blood, has he?
Cards are there for, isn't it? You know, professional foul, whatever you want to call it. I'll be saying to my player, you've won us the game there. Well done. Yeah.
I mean, obviously we haven't got Dan on to ask him, but I wonder if referees, you know, does a referee go, you know, fair play, mate, but you know I don't know. What does a referee have to? And I go back to the boring term that Coyne loves. Does the referee have to go, that's a red card? You've denied a clear goal for your last man, or does he just go, you know what's happening, mate? Off you go. So I don't know. It's
that player wasn't even waiting for it, was he?
No, player's gone.
No, I just love the fact he knows what he's done.
I love the fact that striker's livid, and I think to myself, you've had all that time to put that in the back of the net, mate. That's on you, mate. That is, isn't it?
He's obviously not very confident from shooting from a long distance, is he, the striker? So again, he's made his own problem by not getting his shot away earlier. And his teammates, when he goes into their change room, should be saying to him, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you not getting the shot?
When you shoot, you crap. Shoot.
Yeah. He's probably wanting to run it into the run it onto the line and knock it in with his head, isn't he? I saw that on YouTube not too long ago.
I suppose, in all fairness, though, the centre forward probably isn't expecting the keeper to 2-foot him, is he, from behind? I suppose.
The keeper is centre back. The keeper was running the other side of him. The keeper's trying to get back. I think it was the left back or the centre back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
To be fair to him, he's proper flown in as well, hasn't he? There's last ditch and then there's that.
And again, on the striker's performance as well, why isn't he having a quick look behind him to see who's around and who's closing him down? Because then he might hurry up and get a shot away a bit sooner, and he might score.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Have you ever seen that in a game though, a live game? And I'll put that to the comments. Has anyone in the comments seen that happen? That sort of situation, be it a handball on the line to stop, to stop a goal or something like that? Because I don't think other than on telly with what's his name with Suarez, I can't remember seeing it live at a game.
I had it in a kids game happen for my team as such, about under 12s or something, where one of the opposition players jumped up nearly as high as the crossbar to punch the ball over for a corner. Obviously, we got the penalty, he got sent off, and I think we won the game, which was a rarity for my under 12s team. Beyond that, nothing. No.
Thorny must have, surely.
Well, actually, that was where the cheats do prosper comment. It was only on a Sunday morning, but one of our lads died full length. We were winning 2-1 or 3-2 or kind of whatever it was. And last minute, ball's going in the net. Our keeper's on the deck. One of our lads dives full length, tips the ball over the bar. Of course, he gets sent off. The team who were just about to score are pissed off because they haven't scored. So anyway, they took the penalty and they missed. And our centre forward actually run past their lad and missed. He go, "There you go, mate." He says, "Cheats do prosper," and you can imagine it all just fucking kicked off, didn't it? So it was that's where that one springs to mind. So
the Suarez situation, hasn't the rules changed now? Where if that situation occurs, then the team who it's against gets the goal.
Oh, really?
I might be just completely making that up, but I think I read that somewhere. Maybe 2 or 3 years back, it was changed. So, maybe we should have had Dan in the waiting room so we can ask him that question.
That I don't know. It makes sense. It makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. Get your comments in below. I want to hear your opinion on that. Was it right or was it wrong? I mean, look, at the end of the day, as we said and as we alluded to there, it's saved the team. It's got the team 3 points there. It's 2 points, should you say? I've got no issue with that. It sounds really bad. If it happens against you, I think you'd be livid. But then, as Coyne said there, and as Vorney said, you got to look at the striker there. And has he not got someone shouting man on man? I don't know. Get your comments in below whilst Coyne's having a look at that rule. In fact, I tell you what, Coyne, whilst you're looking at that rule, let's have a little. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep those subscriptions coming in. We want to get as many as possible. Has our man on the computer found that rule yet?
I thought that was going to be longer than that, Dan. I took a swig of beer and all of a sudden the screen came back on. It's like...
Well, whilst we're waiting for Coyne, obviously, what else?
Waiting a while, mate. Let's move on. We can come back to it next week.
Bloody dial-up.
Doing a live broadcast.
Bloody dial-up for you. Whilst we're on the matter, guys, if you're watching and you aren't, if you haven't had a chance to listen yet, the latest episode of Tales of a Groundhopper is out now, brought to you by Kaito Apparel. Make sure you have a listen to it. It's a really good episode with a great bloke, the Terrace Traveller, Nate. Some fantastic stories there, some really, really fun ones. If you have a listen, make sure you give it a share and a like. Bit of a shameless plug there for my side project. So next in the news this week, something that we've all looked at and we spoke about last week, England potentially hosting Euro 2021. I think that's a shoo-in, by the way. I think that's going to happen now. I can just see it. I really can. Definitely go to Scotland after that this week. But I really think that's going to happen. Now, what's come out this week is that the UK and Ireland are going to be looking at doing a joint bid for World Cup 2030, and it looks like it's being backed by the government, which is always a good sign in itself. The question I want to ask to you guys and to the people in the comments, so make sure you get those comments coming in. First and foremost, do you think that if we get Euro 2021, this will hamper our chances of the World Cup coming in 2030? And secondly, can you see it happening at all?
I don't think it would hamper any chances we've got of getting it. No, I don't think that would. I don't think that would happen.
Would it actually enhance the chances?
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would.
If we put on a good tournament this summer, if we actually get the whole tournament, could FIFA then look at that and say, actually, you know what? They've got all the stadia. They've got the infrastructure. They've put on a really, really good show, and added into that, hopefully it'll be the only tournament that is actually hampered by COVID. But added into that, how well did they do given the COVID protocol that had to be in place during the tournament as well? Yeah. Then conclusion is no better place to host that tournament than in England. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a bit torn because it's a 100-year tournament.
Yeah,
the tournament was in Uruguay.
Coming home.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if it went there for the 100-year anniversary, but also, what's the home of football?
Yeah, definitely.
You've taken the words right out of my mouth, actually. Sorry.
Just a quick hello to Esme, who's watching us, had a message there. Hope you're doing very well. Love you very much. Carry on, sorry.
So, yeah, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. I Uruguay. Without wanting to pour a cold water on it. But, yeah, I think it should be going back to South America, if I'm being brutally honest.
Is that what you were saying, Courtney? Were you saying Uruguay?
Yeah, were you listening?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought you meant the home of. I was gearing up. I'll put the banners away. Right, don't mind me. I'll just get the bloody.
I referred to us, to England, as the home of football, but I said that I was torn because there's a lot of me that thinks it should go to Uruguay because of the 100-year anniversary of the first World Cup. So yeah, it's.
I agree, and I think if they bid, I think that's where it'll end up. So
really?
I think, I do. I think it would do. Why wouldn't it? If it's 100 years, would it not end up back in Montevideo or Argentina or somewhere there? You might end up with a joint bid of Argentina and Uruguay or something like that.
I'd say, in the words of Neil Diamond, the reason it won't happen in Uruguay is because money talks, and I'm telling you, that's a big part of any bid nowadays.
That's very true, Dan. But we put a bid in for 2018, and Russia and Qatar got that. Has the England bid got enough money behind it to persuade those FIFA officials who make the decision?
GoFundMe page. I'm starting one now for us.
You got to remember, though, guys. You got to remember, Sepp Blatter isn't employed by them anymore, and he was the guy that decided that. Russia and Qatar were having World Cups, weren't they? Yeah.
Dave Roberts says 2030 bid. I can't see it happening. 5 places being taken by the hosts, 16 normally from Europe. It would be 11 places for the rest. And I get that. I think that's the emotion side of it, isn't it? You read it and you think, oh my God.
Just to come in there, Dan, it's been expanded.
Oh, has it?
It's Vorney, you might correct me on this, but I think it's 48 teams from 2026 onwards.
Is it that many? It could be. Yeah, I know it's. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is.
And I'm not sure if the hosts have to qualify still. I'm not even sure if that's the case at the moment. I know it used to be the case that the host country and the winners from the previous tournament qualified automatically. I think it might now be the case that every team has to qualify automatically.
Yeah, I don't think the winners automatically qualify anymore, do they? I don't think
they do.
What? Really?
Don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think I don't think the winners automatically qualify for the World Cup anymore. I think they still have to go through their qualification. I think.
By the way, certainly for this,
I think it was only the hosts, isn't it? I think it was only the hosts. I think the hosts
didn't even qualify, did they? Because Scotland and Ireland, for example, Scotland had to go through the playoff route, and Ireland are going to host a match, or they're planned to host a match in the tournament. But the Republic of Ireland aren't actually going to be in the tournament.
Yeah, but this is
because it's going all over Europe. But
yeah, I think that's a bit different, isn't it? Because this one's shared around, so there'll be too many teams. I mean, Azerbaijan have got a game, haven't they? All got games. But I'm sure for the Russian World Cup, Russia qualified as hosts, but I think they were the only ones that automatically qualified. Because I still think Germany, because they held it in 2014, I think they still had to qualify. Well, I might be wrong, but I think they did.
Yeah, they didn't have one of the home nations in there qualifying. Was it Wales or Scotland?
What was that? Sorry, I missed that. Sorry.
Did Germany have one of the home nations in their qualifying group for the?
They've had Northern Ireland. Yeah, they played Northern Ireland, I think, didn't they, in the last qualifying campaign?
Yeah. It's mad. I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that at all. look, if it happens, as I say, I'd be absolutely over the moon for it. I think any tournament we've not had one since '96, so it'd be lovely to have one back there. Look, again, get in the comments below. Let us know what you're thinking there. Obviously, big week in non-league this week. We've had a few bits and pieces coming on. One of the stories that I wanted to touch on. I've just cut myself out. Bloody it. One of the stories I wanted to touch on there, and something that affects everyone who's watching, everyone who loves the game, everyone who is involved in the sport. It's the fact that the Department for Digital and Cultural Media and Sport haven't yet said if fans are going to be allowed to go to non-elite sport ahead of 17th of May. I honestly don't know where the bloody hell we stand with this. Do you guys? I mean, what about for Sunday League, Coiny? Is there a limit as to who you can have come watch? I just don't know. I don't know where they're bloody going with it.
I think before this lockdown, it was you can have up to 30 people participate in the match itself. So obviously players, substitutes, etc. But to be honest, I think everyone who played in a Sunday League match, there was more than 30 people there anyway, because you think you've got 16 in your team. Most people have 2 or 3 off the field staff as such. So times that by 2 already, you're over the 30. And then most Sunday League teams will have some people who come and watch as well. So as to how you police it, you can't, because the majority of games are played on public parks. You can't stop people from going watching football at certainly Sunday League level, and I'd say that would be the case for certainly step 7, step 6, some step 5 and 4, I'm sure as well.
Yeah, I think the loophole me and Vorney are gonna utilise when you get back playing with your team, Coiny, is we're going to be media officers for Boar's Head Athletics, so that's going to be all right. I'm joking.
After our last performances before Christmas, I'll just say, poor you.
We're going to come down and heckle your Corny. That's what we're going to do.
The goals going in against us. None of my players are watching, by the way. Bloody hell.
Going back to the whole World Cup scenario, Dave's come back and said, if it's 48, wouldn't the extra teams come from Africa and other smaller, weaker associations? Good question, that.
What you mean, like weaker teams like Wales? You mean, Dave? Is that what you're thinking?
No. If you're not going to play nice, don't play at all.
I'm waiting for a comment back off him now. There's going to be another message back now, isn't it?
And then also, just to touch up on with regards to the grants. Do you remember the grants that were made available, the Winter Survival Fund? This week, it turns out that 647 clubs from Step 3 and Step 6 successfully applied for the grants. So, it's good to know that at least they're going to be getting some funds there. It's been a mess, hasn't it? It still is a mess now. I mean, I only had a look today, and I was trawling through the National League before we had Elliott come on, and realised that Dover have stopped playing altogether in the National League. They've furloughed their staff. They're not playing. They're not playing the fixtures, and it's like, Jesus Christ! I just can't wait for this bloody mess to end. It's just dragging on. Another thing I wanted to touch on as well, which I'm quite happy to hear this, and this isn't really non-league. I suppose this is more. Go on, what are you laughing at?
I've just had a message off Dave Roberts saying "gimp" and laughing at me. This comes from rugby union football, rugby league, and American football. I'm sure people who are watching in the comments get it in there below if you have heard this. It's not a single case of on-field transmission from COVID-19 has happened. I think that's massive, and I think that's so vital for us getting our season, getting football back in general, isn't it?
Yeah. But the argument from those who want to argue against that will be, okay, so on-field transmission hasn't happened, but has transmission happened from people travelling to games together, for example? Has it happened from people standing less than 2 meters apart watching games, for example? And not wishing to be pessimistic, or that's just me playing devil's advocate as such, but I think those questions will arise from those who want to go against sport at our level.
It's a fair counter argument, isn't it? It's a fair counter argument.
Yeah, I mean this hasn't gone away yet. This argument, it will rumble on for weeks, probably months until next season. I should imagine. I think I don't think we're going to see any normality until the start of next season. Anyway, I mean, just 6 months, well, 5 months away still, isn't it? And it's like, I get it. Do you know what? In all fairness, this year's going really quick already. You know, we're almost in the middle of bloody March. I can't believe that, but. I just hope that next season we can go back to watching games. I hope I can get in my bloody car and jump on the M54 and go catch some games. And do you know what I mean? Just something there. I mean, obviously we can't really play the footage, but Coyne, you were very lucky yesterday. You got to go and watch a game of football. Well, you know, I think a lot of people watching this would kill to do that. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, it felt a bit strange after 3 months having the opportunity to go and watch a game. And like, as I've said a few times, you know, I appreciate that I am really privileged to be able to do that through my role at Aber as part of the media team. And it was a bit strange going to a game, but you know, I look forward to it all week. Longer than a week, to be honest. Got in the car, tried to get to the game as early as possible. And I think I was sort of reminded of the current situation as well, because I spoke to my friend who's a director of the club. He travels up from Cardiff. I said, look, you've got a 4-hour plus journey up to Caernarvon. Why don't you drive up to Shrewsbury and come with me from Shrewsbury to Caernarvon in the same car? Obviously, sit in the back. We'd have to wear masks. And he said, you know what? Thanks very much for the offer, but I don't like wearing masks as it is. I think I'd rather just do the drive on my own and then just have the mask on while we're at the game. Which, as soon as you get across, almost like through the turnstiles as such into the stadiums at Cumbria Premier level, you've got to have the masks on for the duration of the game, and you have to make sure that you're 2 meters away from anyone else. And to be fair to all the clubs that I've been to this season, and I've been to the majority of the grounds now, they all enforce it. The way that the clubs conduct themselves is fantastic, and I don't think there's been any issues as such, certainly off the field, because of the way clubs have gone about their business. But it was certainly an eventful afternoon, an eventful return to action. First of all, the team coach was delayed, so the team actually only got to the ground about 40 minutes before kickoff. And if you know, Aberystwyth to Caernarvon, I think is about a 2-hour drive. And you know, usually they get there an hour, longer than that, an hour and a half before kickoff, get a proper warm up in. There was none of that. There was a rush warm up and straight into the game. For some reason, the request to have the kickoff put back was denied. I wasn't quite sure why that was, but yeah, the game itself, Aber took the lead about 7 minutes before half time. Really, really good goal. You can get it on YouTube if anyone wants to see it. Caernarvon then equalised with 5 minutes to go, and then took the lead with 3 minutes to go. And then there was certain over-exuberant celebrations from some of their players. Oh no, one of their players in particular, shall we say, that ended up with a bit of a bit of a confrontation with our bench, and there were some yellow and red cards dished out because of that to people who were off the field. And then 94 minutes, 4 minutes into stoppage time, Aber get a free kick about 25 yards out from goal. Second midfielder steps up, a guy called Jamie Veal, hits this absolutely perfect free kick into the bottom corner to make it 2 each. So that that goal was massive, absolutely massive for us, because as it's been pointed out on this show, Aber are bottom of the league at the moment.
Dave Roberts, I believe, is the guy that does that, isn't he?
He certainly is.
but that can, that goal changes the season. All of a sudden, you're going into the game on Tuesday with everyone on a high, instead of being another defeat and a really frustrating way to concede the goals in the last 5 minutes. All of a sudden now it's look what we can do. Yes, we had the kick in the teeth going 2-1 down with 3 minutes to go. But look what happened. We rallied as a side and we managed to get it back to 2 each. So it's up to the players now to take that on to Tuesday against Haverfordwest at home. I'll come on to their new signing in a minute as well, by the way, because there's been there's actually been some really big news in the Welsh Premier and in the Cymru Premier this weekend as well. But hopefully ABBA can take that good feeling from the last minute equaliser into Tuesday and try and pick up 3 points on Tuesday night at home.
That's good.
So I don't know if we didn't actually talk about this off air, but Haverfordwest have actually signed a guy called Jazz Richards, who was in the Wales squad for Euro 2016.
Didn't he play for Fulham? Wasn't he at Fulham?
I think he was on loan at Fulham, and he played for Cardiff and Swansea. Right back, really good player as well. Yeah. He got released by Cardiff, I think it was, at the end of last season, and he's decided that he wants to just play football for almost the enjoyment of it away from the professional side. Wants to go into semi-pro football. He knew a few people at Haverfordwest, and he's signed for them. So that'll be really interesting to see him play on Tuesday night if he's available. And I certainly expect that we'll have a few more media requests to get into our ground on Tuesday night.
That's a big signing. Big signing, isn't it? Big signing.
Huge.
Yeah.
And the other big news coming out of the Cymru Premier this weekend is that the new Saints have parted company with Scott Roscoe, the manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Was a huge shock for me because they're the top of the league at the moment. Obviously, they didn't win the league last season because of the Connors Key won the league, but TNS were almost denied the chance to win it because of the league finishing early and being decided on points per game. And they're top of the league this year. I personally thought that they'd go on, and they still will go on to retain. They'll go on to get the league back from Connors Key this season. That's just my opinion. And I was absolutely shocked to see that Scott had gone.
Yeah, so big Stevie Evans has gone with him as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, Steve Evans has gone as well. Which those two have been involved with the new Saints for. Scott's been there 19 years unbroken, and I think Steve Evans went away to Wrexham and then came back. So it's a huge shock, and I'll be very interested to see who they bring in as a replacement, because to replace those two after their long association with the club and what they've done for the club as well. The records as players, coaches, and management staff is really second to none. They've done an absolutely phenomenal job there. So it must be someone, of a high caliber that they're planning to bring in to replace them.
I've heard a rumour myself this week. Actually, Coyne, you might be interested in this. I don't know if you can see behind me there, exercise bike cross trainer. This dropped on Facebook a few hours ago.
I didn't even see the top bit until right at the end. I was thinking, who's this guy?
One more season, I did. I was. I'm really joking. I'm not going to bloody play again. I'd probably die. But I think it's interesting you say that. The fact that they've been there so long, and it's always one of them situations when someone's been there for so long and they go, whoever comes in, that's a tough act to follow, regardless of how to pick the person before them left. I'm certainly going to be interested to see. Is there anybody been linked with the job yet?
I haven't seen anything myself, anything concrete as such. It's just literally, people speculating and my own thoughts on who might be in the running. But again, you can always second guess teams, can't you? But no one really knows. It could be anyone. It could quite literally be anyone. They obviously want to go in a different direction, as otherwise why would you get rid of a manager who's won? I think he's won 3 titles there as a manager, been there 19 years, obviously just completely ingrained in that football club. To get rid of him, and with the success that he's had as well, it must be something. It must be either someone massive has become available and declared an interest in the job, or they just want to go in a completely different direction and change, just completely change their structure. So for me, it's going to be fascinating who actually becomes the manager now.
It is actually bizarre, isn't it? Because you think of those two as well, Paul. Really, you think when TNS become TNS, they moved to Oswestry and everything that kind of went with that. Scott Rusko. I mean, he's TNS through and through, isn't he? Same with Steve Evans. I mean, Steve moved on to, I think, Wrexham for a couple of seasons and then got his Welsh caps there and then came back to TNS. So those two, I mean, if you chopped those two in half, they'd have green and white TNS all the way through them, wouldn't they? Yeah. So it's just bizarre.
They've been there through it all, really, haven't they? I mean, you think back to when TNS played Liverpool in the Champions League qualifiers. Scott was in the midfield and Steve Evans was at centre back,
wasn't he? Yeah.
They're just two names who are absolutely synonymous with that club.
They're two faces. They're two faces, aren't they? Whenever you would go to Park Hall, everybody knows those two, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone knows Scott Rusko and Steve Evans.
Steve Evans played for Oswestry Town before they folded last season, I think, as well, didn't he? Signed on and played a couple of games for them. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Owen, my boss, he played for Oswestry, and Steve Evans did play for Oswestry a few times. Yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah, along with I think Chris Sargent did as well. And I think Chris Sargent has possibly taken over temporarily, I think.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. Sorry, Chris Sargent has taken over. Yeah, but Hazelwood, really?
I thought they'd been weak since Harrison had left. Who's Hazelwood?
Don't agree with that, and
that's probably Mark Hazelwood, isn't it?
Probably for reasons that we shouldn't we shouldn't talk about on this show. But
well, Hazelwood was he at Carmarthen? Is it Carmarthen? Mark? Is it Mark Hazelwood? Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all right.
Always rattled. Those steely blue eyes have come out again. Lads, it's nearly the witching hour. It's we've been on for quite a while. We've had a good show tonight. Massive thanks to Elliott Durrell for coming on earlier on. I tell you what, how well did he come across? Really nice lad.
Really excellent, wasn't he? Really good guy.
Next week, in fact, actually, do you know what? Before I start telling the people who we've got on, I better speak to you two first about who we might have on before I go and drop that bombshell. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I honestly thank you so much for everyone who's stuck by and had watched the show tonight. If you're new to the show, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get a like in there as well. As always, we are creating something. We're building. I think we're all just waiting for some football to come back. At non-league level, at grassroots level, so we can start sharing more footage with you, start sharing more videos, so you don't have to watch. It looks like I've got two bloody horns coming out of my head, doesn't it? Look at that. Jesus Christ. So I mean, there will be more to come. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Is there anything else you need to add before we let these lovely people go?
No, I think it's been good. Enjoyed it.
I think it's bedtime.
This week.
Sorry?
So there's been plenty of things to get our teeth stuck into this week, isn't there?
Quite right. In fact, actually, Vaughan, something I've not spoke to you about, and you might be interested, Coiny. At the end of the month, look at that handsome devil. At the end of the month, I'm going to be doing a live episode of Tales of a Groundhopper. I'm going to be getting groundhoppers from far and wide to come in and join us live throughout the couple hours show. To come and tell us a few tales. People old and new will be coming on. Vaughan, I'm sure I'll be able to get you on there for a couple of minutes, surely. You've got plenty of bloody stories.
I'm not. It looks like I've been roped into it, doesn't it? Of course I will. Of course I will.
Coyne, you're too busy watching the bloody game, the lucky bugger. Look, lads, as always, I joke about it, but thanks for coming on and
thank you.
To get your views. I love the fact that Dave Roberts and Coyne have already got that relationship building there. It's fantastic to see. But anyway, other than that, guys, all that's left for me to say is sayonara, au revoir, be thinkers, not stinkers. See you next week.